tates. And you're watching Disney Channel. Okay, this is happening. Hi everyone, I am Steffany, and I'm doing this. This is definitely something out of my comfort zone. It's not something that I regularly do, especially when it comes to the topic that I'm going to talk about, simply because it's just so personal to me. And I think a lot of times we tend to hide away from our stories, the story of our lives, or we tend to just not just push it to the side, but really underestimate the power of our story. And that's something that has really been in my life, in my heart, definitely these days. And life is full of chapters, right? It's full of different chapters, that some that we probably didn't want them to exist, chapters that you probably wish never ended, chapters that are just so painful and excruciating, just like there are chapters that are just like, yeah, I remember those days, you know. But every single chapter is part of our life, and it's part of our story that I think a lot of times we just want to neglect, or we don't think that anybody else would face the same things that we face or feel the same way we feel. But I want to let you know that there is power in your story, in every single word, in every single scar, and every single script or part of your life. And I want to talk to you today about the chapter in my life where I was sexually assaulted. I say that with so much confidence because I would never been able to speak about my story of sexual assault had it not been a process of healing for me. I think that because the way it wasn't just on one occasion. It was multiple occasions where I was sexually assaulted by several different people in my childhood. And I didn't think that it would affect me so much to the point that at the age, right now I'm 24, but at the age of 23, it would just erupt and implode a lot of the relationships that I had, even in my family. And definitely it was something that I pushed away, that I was aware that it happened. But I think what happens to a lot of people who have gone through it, have gone through this, is that it's something to be quiet about. It's something that even the family or people around them say, hey, you have to be quiet. People can't know about this. And for me, it was that I was just so quiet. I think I was in my middle school days, so it was just so much transitioning happening at the time that I fell into such a deep depression. And I literally just didn't want to exist anymore. I didn't want to survive. I didn't want to live. And so it's crazy because for me, the moment where I was deep in my depression at the age of 11 or 12 years old, because the most significant, I would say, moment or assault that I had was when I was 9. It was a year long. It was 9 to 10 years. And it was crazy because I was just so down in who I felt so ashamed. I felt so guilty. I felt so unworthy to even be alive. I found myself in situations where people would even take advantage, and I would just let them because I was like, I'm damaged goods. You know, so when I was in middle school, I went to a youth retreat that transformed my life. And that is where I found Jesus. And that is where I literally I laid it all down to him. And complete life change. I found peace. I found joy. I was restored. But even then, it's crazy that now that I look back, like, my faith journey is such a different story, but but has been the one that has guided me to where I am today. Even in the midst where I had moments where I stopped believing to get to where I am today. But it wasn't until I literally looked within and literally took evaluation and realized that that a lot of that shame, that even though I made the decision when I was in middle school to let it go and to let Jesus and let God take control, was something that I still carried, even in the most simple actions, even in my most simple decisions. And so so I tell you about that chapter in my life, not because of pity, not because of anything, but because I know and understand that there is power in being able to confess this and understand that if you are going through this, if you have gone through this, you're not alone. Like, you know how it feels, how your heart feels, how your mind feels, how even your body feels after situations like those. And you're not alone. And there is help. There are resources that you can use, that we can use, that they give out to be able to process this and to be able to heal this. And obviously trauma is not something that one day or the other it's like it's gone. No, it's a process, and that's why it's a journey that you don't have to face alone. In me, I was able to not just reconnect and rekindle and just go deeper into my relationship with God. I found people that just saw me for who I was and accepted me, and I renounced. I for so long I blamed myself for allowing people to trespass my life, my body. So I was able to forgive not just the people that's trespassed against me, but myself. I think I felt like I was my biggest enemy. Sometimes that's how we feel, that we're our own biggest enemies. But I'm so thankful for everything that I've gone through. And I think a lot of times we're ashamed of our past. But if it's something that I love about God, is that He sees our past. He sees our present, He sees our future, and yet He still loves us as we are and wants us as we are. And I see Jesus, and I see how He laid His life down for us, and that's why I'm a firm believer in Christ. You can be watching this and say, well, I don't know, Tate, but whatever. But it's just, it's become so personal to me, and there's hope. There's hope. There are resources. You're not alone, and I can tell you that the healing is a journey, but that doesn't mean you have to stay stuck with the trauma of your past, but that you can be able to open those wounds that may have not healed correctly, and take out those infected areas, or dig deep and take out those rotten roots to grow new roots that will bring abundance and bring life and will bring joy and will bring happiness, and then you can have the same conversation that I'm having right now, or the same monologue of being able to confess and not be ashamed of what you've been through, but understanding that it's all part of your story, and it's your story that will help inspire others.